Hi, this is Coach Chris. Many of you played 9v9 3-2-3 last season. This season we're going to play 11v11 on a big field, 4-2-3-1. Let's talk about it. Some key changes from 9v9 to 11v11. Instead of being 8 field players, there's now 10 field players, so there's 2 extra players. We're going to talk about that in a second. The field is 20 to 30% bigger. Offside is still after the halfway line. You'll see that a 11v11 field is as wide as a 9v9 field is long. So it's a big field. All right, so when we played 7v7, we often played with a 3-1-2, which was 3 defenders, 1 center midfielder, 2 forwards. That effectively was 3 forwards and 3 defenders. For 9v9, when we were in a 3-2-3, we had the dark blue and the light blue here. So we had 3 forwards, 2 midfielders, and then 3 defenders. For 11v11, 4-2-3-1, we're adding an extra defender and we're adding an extra attacking midfielder. So you can see from 7v7 to 11v11, what we've basically done is add more through the middle. We've added a couple of extra midfielders, we've added a forward, and we've added a defender. And so we've made our formation wider. As always, we want to be more spread in possession and more compact when defending. At 9v9, the build-out line went away, so now the press could start right outside of the goal box. We could still build out short as long as the press wasn't too intense, so we'd play it out to the wide defender, and then they could move it up and potentially link up with the wide forward. We could also send it directly to the wide forward. We could send it even longer up to the center forward here down the line. So there were a number of options there. For our 11v11 4-2-3-1, we've got a slightly different configuration for the defenders. Instead of the defenders being kind of wide and then central, we're now expecting the goalkeeper to fill that central role. And we've got our 2 center midfielders, split and low. And then we've got our central defenders wide on either side of the goalie. And then our wide defenders are actually up and wide so that they are options for the next pass. So we can see that our configuration of the defenders has changed into this kind of U shape. And then we've got our center midfielders, and here a pair of center midfielders. The attacking midfielder that we added is also in here, and they're showing options and showing to the ball. And then the striker is up here as another central option. On the pressing side, the press is basically a flat 4, and then a middle 2, and then a back 4. So when we press in the 4-2-3-1, we're basically pressing in a kind of 4-2-4 shape. We want our 9 and 10, our attacking midfielder and our striker, to lead the press. And then the 7 and the 11, the wide forwards, they can work to trap and prevent wide passes. The key thing is that we want to wait until the ball has come wide, and then we want to use the sideline to try and trap the opposition into the sideline. We want to make sure that we're doing a good press, but we don't want to overcommit on the press because there's extra people so that they can send it long, and there's more options for passing it through. And then our 6 and our 8 are back here, and they're preventing central progression. We can see an illustration of the options that the central defender has once they receive the ball. They can drive forward, they can knock it through to one of the defensive midfielders, they can send it out wide here to the wide defender. They could also send it to the wide forward if they were available, or they can send it into the channel, and then the striker, the attacking midfielder, or the wide forward could attack it. So these are all good options. Playing short is often the ideal option when the press is not too intense. When the press is intense, then oftentimes we're going to want to either do quick combination passing to get out or send it longer. For 9v9, we were trying to do similar things, playing wide and into the corners, playing around the defense. We just had extra players in the middle to help move the ball, and we had extra players in the middle on the opposing team preventing us from moving it through the middle. So again, the objective of trying to move it down the sidelines and into the corners and then in front of goal still made a lot of sense. With the 4-2-3-1, if we focus on the triangles in position here, we're showing a similar situation of having a wide defender with the ball. We've got our two defensive midfielders showing for the ball. One's kind of showing for the ball, the other's kind of holding space here. And then we've got our attacking midfielder. They're able to show for the ball. The striker is able to keep the defenders higher, and then the wide forward is here showing for the ball as well. So there's just another couple of people available. The other thing is, given the width of the pitch and the number of players and our strength of pass, if we can make a pass that is going to get across to the other wing, that's sometimes a really good option. The other option that can work really well is sending it around the back. So you could send it from one side on the defense to the other side on the defense and then up the sideline. So these are all good options. Sending it down into the corner, sending it through the middle to progress somehow, or sending it across the back and then up the sideline into the corner and then in front of goal. Defensively, things don't change too much. We've just got an extra couple of people to defend. When we're defending again, we want to get nice and compact. We want to have our defensive midfielders in front of our defenders. We basically just want to have one extra defender than there are forwards. So we can see the 2 is on the 11 here, the 5 and the 4 are watching this 9. The 3 is here on the 7. We don't want to have too many people free at the back. We just want to have one free at the back, be nice and safe, be nice and compact. And here's a view of that situation with just the blue and red colors, just to illustrate where you can see the blue is a little bit more spread out. We got our defensive midfielders, we got our wide forward 7 and 11, striker here, attacking midfielder here, and then the defensive team, the red team here. You can see the 4 and then defensive 2 midfielders, wide forwards, attacking midfielder, and striker are kind of leading the press out onto this defender. For 9v9, we similarly had our wide forward taking the corner, but then we had an extra couple of players. So now we can have our striker going to the front post, our other wide forward going to the back post, and now we've got a couple of players in the middle, as well as those 3 players outside ready for longer shots. And when we move to 11v11, this is showing a really compact corner. Oftentimes the teams, given that there's so many people, they'll leave a striker out, in which case we're going to have to have our one or two of our defenders out further. But assuming they let us get them this compact, then what we want to do attacking wise, we can see the triangles here. We want to have the striker on the near post, the other wide forward on the far post, and then our attacking midfielder can kind of sit in the middle here. And then our defensive midfielders, they can be in here ready to attack, and then our defenders can kind of be spread out. And then for defending, we want to make sure that both posts are covered. We want to make sure that the middle is covered. We can also have an extra person kind of covering the back post area. So rather than just one player, we might want to have a couple of players covering the back post area. And then our attacking midfielder can kind of be basically on the penalty spot preventing long shots along with the striker. All right, I'm hoping that little bit of information up front helps explain what we're going to do playing 11v11, 4-2-3-1. I'm looking forward to the season ahead, and I hope you are too.